Okay then. Oh, yeah. Now, the end of the day. End of the 10th of April, 2020. I was cha-ching today again. Never mind me, like, I've been wearing this pink thing because it's comfortable. It's warm. It was a warm day today. It was a warm day today. I did my reports this morning, and then I started work at 10:30. And yesterday was a pretty bad day. I was looking at messages that were sent to a friend of mine. A lot of people were feeling kind of funny, and there was talk about the full moon, as there would be full moon craziness. And all I could think of was, I'll go home to Tara. I'll think of a way to get him back. After all, tomorrow is another day. I'll go to Tara. And it kept going on in my head, like Gone with the Wind. Yeah. The other one that keeps going around in my head is Some Are More Equal Than Others. And my mother's favorite, Common Sense Is Not Too Common, which is kind of similar to the one. I always say this to my students when they, the music students, whenever they do something that is kind of silly, or they come in and they say like, I don't understand this piece of music. Then I go like, why don't you understand the piece of music? And they go like, it makes no sense. And you go like, what makes no sense? And they will, from the dog ate the homework to the cat had kittens and whatever else is happening. And then you sit them down and you say, okay, what's the problem? Show me the music. What's the issue? And they'll kind of go like, I don't understand how many beats in a bar. And I go like, okay, well, what does it say? It says 3 beats to a bar. What kind of beats? And I tell you what kind of beats. But I don't know what key it's in. Okay, tell me, are there any flats or are there any sharps? And they'll tell you there's one flat or one sharp. And you're like, so and what do we call that key? And they go like, it's that key. I said, look, there you go. So you've got 3 beats in the bar and it is in. So what is the first note going to be? Like, there is only so many choices. And 10 minutes in, they'll go like, oh, yeah, yeah. And I'll go like, would you have been able to do this at home on your own? And I'll go like, yeah, probably I could have. And I'll go like, it's not rocket science. And they kind of look at me and I go, The funny thing is about that story, really, it doesn't sound as funny when I say it like this on camera. What is funny is that when I studied for my degree, I was an adult and I had a teacher here in CIT in Cork. And we butted heads a lot. Like, we butted heads a lot. Oh my God, everything is going off. Okay, I'm going to put this in silent now. We butted heads a lot. And now I'm thinking it was more me than her. And at the time I was thinking it was more her than me. Of course I would have thought that. And I would do the same thing. I would do the same thing as my students now do. And I was actually, looking back now, the only thing I was interested in was playing music. I didn't care for any of the technical stuff. I just played, and that's how I acquired the techno stuff. It's not, and if I would do it all again, I'd do it somewhat differently. But it has to do with being hard-headed, which is actually has stood to me in many ways. It's been an obstacle as well, but it has also stood to me. I've often had not learned how to use that hard-headedness in a positive way. And she always said this to me. She'd always, do something, and then she'd say, "Well, we talked about this before, and this is how you do it." And she actually worked really hard on me. She really did. Maybe I should feel guilty about that time, but I don't. I actually don't. But I did take her line. It's not rocket science, especially in things like music and the stuff in general that I'm interested in. It's not rocket science. Like we don't work as musicians. We don't. This idea of all being like art, art and being inspired. It's 99% work, and it's not rocket science. You just have to do the work. And the more of the work you do, the easier it gets. The same thing with acquiring language. So I don't say it to the language students because it's an idiom they often don't get. I teach an awful lot of very young kids. Some of my favorite lessons, in fact, at the moment, are alphabet lessons. And I noticed something today. I think this is interesting. I'm not entirely sure if it's true, but I'm getting the impression it is. Things are not rocket science. Most things in life are just things you've got to do. You just got to repeat it over and over and over and just get it done. Music is very much one of those. If you really want to be really good at music, the creative bit, the bit why everybody wants to do music because they want to be a genius, the really genius part really only starts to happen. You can have a real affinity with music and you can have interesting insights, but real creativity really only starts to happen when you really, really, really have a lot of hours under your belt and you really know what you're doing. Now, I'm not saying that there are not people who do amazing interpretations of things that have already been done 100,000 times. But the truth is that as musicians and as artists in music, think about it. A scale has 12 tones. Now, this scale replicates itself over and over and over. From the top to the bottom, how many possibilities can you possibly have? And if you break that down, that's a few thousand, a few thousand combinations that we can make. A lot of those are not comfortable at all. We don't use them. So now we're left with, let's say, 2,000 or 3,000, and we can reshuffle them like a puzzle. And then we figure out that actually another 1,000 or so are still not comfortable. They don't work together. And this is linear, it's horizontal, and it's vertical. It's like a grid. And we are also conditioned, our ears are conditioned by our culture to appreciate certain things and not appreciate other things. Now, we might find other things exciting, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we'd use them because we can't find a way out of it. So our ears are trained to hear things in a certain way. So real creativity doesn't necessarily lead to real originality. If you think, and very often as young musicians, we think we're very original. I hate to say it, but probably not. It's very unlikely. It's very unlikely. So it's not rocket science. Now, how did I get here? Oh yeah, I went working. Yesterday I had a really bad day. I had one student once that I really, 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 really upset. It really upset me because I couldn't see the student. They wouldn't turn on their camera, and I don't know. It just wasn't good. it wasn't good. It felt really wrong. And then yesterday, I had a little child, and sorry about this. And this kid was there with its mother. And the mother was outside of the camera. It said it was a little girl, but it didn't look like a little girl. It looked like a little boy. And this kid comes on sitting like this, away from the camera, kind of looking at me. And I say, hello, how are you? Hello. I have the rabbit and a little squeaky thing with the rabbit. And we're going to do letter, I think it was letter G. Oh yeah, it was letter G. Today we're learning about letter G. And and this kid is looking at me going, and the moment the mother turns around, it goes like to me. So I'm going, okay. But then he stopped again. And I tried to get the child to talk, because that's the whole thing about teaching online is they're not there to learn to write. Like, they learn to spell and they do a little bit of writing, but the main aim is to get them to speak. So there's a lot of you say after me. Less words is better. So I go, G, 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 G. Can you say it? G, 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 G. This goes on for a while. And finally, the child says G. Thank God. And we move on. Big G, small g. Is the big G or a small g? And I repeat and I repeat. And the child won't say anything. Then the mother gives out and the child says something. Mother turns around to me, rolling the eyes, giving me the finger. But, no skin off my nose. Smiling, keep talking. Wouldn't repeat the words. Finally, the child repeats the words that we're learning. What is it? It is grass. What is G? Grass, goal, and something else. Girl. This is a girl. Say after me. This is a girl. Nothing. Girl. This is a girl. Girl. Okay. What color is the grass? Grass. What color? Now, at that stage, they know the colors. Like, they have a fair grasp of colors. Most of these kids do. So I go, is the grass orange? The mother says something. No, it's not. Oh, very good. Well done. Well done. Is the grass blue? And it goes on and on. I go, the grass is green. The grass is green. Nothing. Good one. Next one. Goal. I go, goal! 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 Finally, I get some kind of reaction. But every time, like, I could see in the reaction of the child whether the mother was watching or not. But the child did not speak. I did not stop smiling, but the child did not speak. No matter what I did, rabbit on, well done, compliments, Will we look at this? Oh, let's say this. Nothing. I had such a bad feeling about it. And actually, I haven't had a child that was that bad, like that bad. Just the rudeness of it was really unfair. And we just have um, a new rating system or new feedback reports, which is actually has improved quite a lot because initially you couldn't say anything. So I wrote a friendly report, that because some of the speech patterns were fine, the pronunciation of the few words that were said was fine, but the whole point is to have that conversation. And I gave the child the pencil to draw, and all it did went like this. And you take away the pencil, right? It's pretty soon. Got so mad. The child got so mad. Sitting there going like, "Argh!" And I go like, no, repeat after me. Big smile on my face. Now, I've never had like a negative rating. Not once, not in the time that I've been there. The lowest rating I've gotten is an 8. And what do I see on my feedback form before I'd written up the reports is that I'd gotten an 8. And I was thinking there were 2 possibilities. One, there was some issues with the technology, which happens all the time. There's lagging between the 2 continents. There could be all kinds of things. And sometimes they rate you a bit lower for this. Yeah. I was the kid. And the reason was the speaking speed was right, but there was lagging, and I did not give the child opportunity to speak. So the mother didn't hear the child speak. But what she also didn't hear was all the work I put in to try to get the child to speak, but the child would not speak. And the whole day today, I was thinking, I had put in it in the feedback form that I really was not happy, and that I'd not come across a child that was that rude, and that I, no harm to the child, but that I really, really, really hoped that the system would not put that child back up in my classroom. So I'd finished the report. I refreshed the page to see who would be coming to class for the day. But because I still have the pointer on the old page, when it renewed, it still said her name, and I thought, oh my God, I'm having the child again. I got so angry. I got so angry because I was really annoyed by what had happened, because the ratings actually, for some teachers like myself, their rating can influence your status and your pay, and whether you get booked, yes or no. And it just brings your rating down. We're supposed to keep ratings up over 9.59 and preferably 9.7. And of course, 9.8, 9.9 is much better. And I managed to keep the 9.9 for 3 months, and then I have something like this, and it's a lot of work to get it back up. So now this is the new chocolate noodles, and noodles have loads of parsley, because I have more parsley in the garden than anybody can eat. So I eat parsley every day, and cheese makes everything better. And noodles make me think of confined spaces, because the last time I ate noodles in an amount like I do now was when I took the train to China in the 1990s. So, and today I got an Easter egg. The Easter bunny came by early, and I took one look at the Easter egg, made myself a cup of tea after teaching, and ate the bloody thing. So now I don't have chocolate for Easter. I'll have noodles. Why did I tell this story? I told this story because I had a student today which made me absolutely howl with laughter. Little boy, not little, but like, no, he was 11 years old. He was one of those, he was very busy. He was at a desk and he had like an amazing painting behind him, an amazing drawing. And I said, "Did you make that drawing?" And he was at high level 8. Hmm. It happens. Some of these younger kids, they really, really, if you stick to their experience, they're really good. And this was one of them. Level 8 student, 11 years old. But level 8 can be like tricky for that age group because it could be anything. What did we get? Direct speech versus reported speech. Basically, it is something that you say from own experience, and reported speech is hearsay. So I heard that it has been said by so and so. Reported speech. So you have to find out what they're interested in so they can say, "I have heard that," and then tell you what it is. So I say, "Did you make that painting behind you?" And he goes, "What painting? What drawing?" "Drawing." "What drawing?" I said, "The one behind you." He goes like, "Oh, that's not mine. I don't draw." And in the meantime, he's making, which happens a lot as well, he's doing homework. So they kind of, because they're kept very busy, like very, very busy. They get up really early, they go to school until really late, and they're in school all the time. And sometimes during class, they do homework for other classes. This is not uncommon. In the beginning, I thought it was really annoying. I actually think it's not great. Multitasking like that is not great. But I also know that there is research that says that no matter, especially with languages, no matter when you put it in, it still leaves an effect. So I have to do this. You've got to understand that I haven't smoked anything since I came back from Ireland, from the Netherlands, and like lockdown. There's no drink. There is no, so noodles it is. It makes me happy. So, so I said to him, "Do you watch the news?" "No, not really." He goes, "Not that interested." "What are you doing right now?" "Oh, I'm doing, I said, "Are you doing science? Are you studying for science? Or are you studying for your English homework? Or what are you studying for? Maybe you're studying for mathematics?" Because they all do mathematics. They all do Chinese and mathematics, and they have a lot of homework for it. And he goes, "Oh, it's Chinese mathematics you wouldn't understand." And I'm thinking, "Oh, this is going to be fun." So I said to him, "Do you ever watch the news?" "Nah, not really. Maybe sports." And I go, "Oh, you like sports?" And he goes like, "Yeah, I do. I like soccer." "What do you like?" "I like the English team." "Oh, okay." I said, "What English team would you like?" "Well, the English team." And I said, "Okay, maybe the World Cup." And he goes like, "Well, I don't know how you call it." I said, "Well, maybe it's the English squad for the World Cup." "I watched the World Cup," he goes. So okay, we're having some context issues here. And I said to him, "So you're doing Chinese mathematics, which Chinese maths, which I won't understand, and you like the English football club, yeah. So do you read a lot of news? Where would you get your news from?" "Oh, online." "Okay, oh, okay, very, very good. Like, do you check it all the time?" "No, no, no, it was just during the World Cup." Okay, fair enough. So I still wasn't anywhere. I said, "Do you think it's important to be informed?" He said, hmm, hmm, hmm. Yeah, he goes, yeah, when there's something like really, really dangerous. And I go, okay, like what? And he was like, well, like an earthquake or a typhoon, and then you have to keep an eye on the news. I go, you're absolutely right. That's so good. Like, well done. That is absolutely true. When there is a problem, you should keep an eye on the news. And I said, so what are we doing? I said, well, I'm trying to figure out what you're interested in because what we're doing is basically like telling each other about things that we learned about other things. So we have to say, I heard that. And he goes, I heard that the United States has like 450,000 infections of coronavirus. And I'm sitting like, oh, I go, okay. Where did you get that information? And he goes like, oh, I'll just look it up right now. And he's looking at his phone. He goes like, well, actually, it's 460,000 now. He goes like, have you not heard this? I go like, there you go. There's your reported speech. Well done. I said, so we can talk about the coronavirus. He goes like, yeah, I don't understand. He said, like, oh, fairness, like I'm in China. He goes, we had 80,000. We thought it was a lot. 450,000. Did you hear that? I said, I did. I did. I didn't know it was 450 today, but I saw it was a lot yesterday. I don't understand. He says, I don't understand how that happened. I said, well, you know what? For the exercise, for the class, he goes like, yeah. I said, could you tell me maybe, could you give me the information without giving me the source, so where you got it? Can you tell me how many people are sick in Ireland and how many have died? He goes, no problem. And he goes, well, he goes, oh my, he goes, your country is really small. Ireland is really small. And I go, yeah, how do you know this? And he was like, I just looked it up. Like, I just saw it and found it on the world map. And I said, oh, so you know how? He says, very small, not a very big population. And I go, okay. And he says, oh, he goes, oh, I see. I said, what do you see? I'm trying to find out where they are. He says, oh, yeah. Where is it? Ah, yeah, there. He goes like, oh, okay. Well, you've got 6,500 people infected, and you've got like 228 deaths or something like that. It was, it's not far off. I go, that's absolutely right. I said, so now you understand how reported speech is. Now, can you tell me something about yourself? And he was like, no, I don't need to tell you anything about myself. He said, we were talking about reported speech. I have to tell you about what I heard. I just found out that you're from a very small country. And percentage wise, there's so many people that are sick. So many people that are sick. How did you guys let that happen like that? I went like, okay, you did a great job. Thank you very much. Can we change the subject now? He goes like, well, it's really interesting, And when I came into the classroom, he had a mask on. He was just out of school. I think it could be. I should really, not actually even go into the whole thing. But he was in one of the big cities, and he'd come out of school and he was still wearing his mask, and he just fell into his homework. He was waiting for his English class. Now, it doesn't happen like he actually left the math homework for me. I have a girl that I get regularly, and she never scores me a 10. She always scores me a 9. But I've not managed yet to get her attention. Like, she just does her math homework while she does English lessons. And she does this lovely thing where she doesn't listen. She's doing the homework. And when you say read, she looks up, she reads. She reads. She rattles through the whole thing, and then she goes, "Oh, okay, okay," and then she goes back to the homework, and you say the corrections are, and then you go like, "This is what you say," and she, "Oh, okay," and then she looks at you, she does the corrections, goes right back to the homework, and then I ask her a question, a context question, For instance, what was it? We did land masses, and I go like, so what is higher, a hill or a mountain? Uh, and she goes, "Oh, okay." And I said, "No, that's not what I asked. I didn't correct you. I asked you a question. What is higher, a hill or a mountain?" "Oh, okay." He was like, "Excuse me, hello, I'm over here. Can you answer the question, like, so we can move on?" And she goes like, "What's the question? Oh, you're asking me a question. Oh, okay." And I go like, "Yeah, what's higher, a hill or a mountain?" "Oh, okay. I said it's in the text right in front of you. Oh, yeah, mountain. Mountain is higher than a hill. Yeah, thank you. Oh, okay." And she goes on with her homework. So, what was the last one we had? I thought I had her. I thought I had her. I didn't. No. And I said to her, "What is the homework you're doing?" "Oh, it's Chinese maths." So these kids actually think that Chinese maths is different. Maybe Chinese maths is different to the maths worldwide. Maybe they do stuff that we don't do. One thing I do know is that they work very hard. But this kid today now, he put a big smile on my face because he had me by the balls. He really did. He had me by the balls. He was very well, not interested in news. Not at all. He's talking about, the World Cup was the last time he saw football. He did not care about sports at all, but he knew exactly what was going on, and he knew exactly where to find the information. And he didn't tell me a word of a lie. Like, he gets his information online, probably a VPN. They have a line outside somehow. They have access because in those regions very often, like, there are restrictions on a lot of areas on the internet, but he could find anything. He had it all like at his fingertips, and if he wanted to know something, he could get the information. And I said to him, "Well, would you like to be a reporter?" He said, like, "Oh no, that's not a job. That's not a job." He went, and I'm thinking, whoa, like, whoa. Yeah, very, very fascinating because it's so different. It's so different. It's so different. So that made my day. But then on the other hand, there were two students that really made me work very hard, and I couldn't really see them. Um, Sometimes they turn off their cameras, and it can be really challenging. Please don't do that while we're doing this. So anyway, that was my story for the day. Now, as for the updates, um, I've worked every day since I started this process of the diaries, and I know that I was saying last week that I was doing training, and I've finished the training for two sections. There's a new junior program, which I will teach. The first lesson that I'll be doing that teaching that is tomorrow. It also changes a little bit. The class is not normally. So far, I've been teaching 25 and 45-minute classes. These classes are 40 minutes, and they are they pay somewhat better, and there is also a bonus structure on top of it. So they could potentially they could be really interesting classes to teach. However, I don't know. Like, I don't know whether this is true or not, but I think there's a big discrepancy in the age of the people that will be in that class. So I have to look at that material again. The other thing that we all have to do is demo classes. Demo classes basically are classes that you teach to kids who might who do like a tryout class, a demo class, a tryout class. Now that of course asks for a lot of people. I understand from the social media that they have and the closed groups that they have on the platform, a lot of people don't want to teach demo classes. It takes a certain type of person. Like if you can make a really good impression and you can really make people feel at home and feel comfortable, there is a bonus structure in there. There is good money to be made. I think I could be really good with it, but I'm not sure. So I did it's really weird because you have to watch all these videos and you meet all these tutors that um, like these tutors that do really well within the company. And then suddenly when you go into one of those classrooms to do the actual demo, to teach demos, one of these people is there. So I was in class with this woman. I had been watching her videos, which was really odd. From she's from the UK. Um, yeah. So I'm going to do the junior thing tomorrow, and there is then I'm waiting for the first demo classes. I'm kind of looking forward to it because so many people don't want to do them. But I'm finding that a lot of people that complain about not getting booked, we got an email explaining how the ranking for the booking goes, and it was more or less what I was thinking already. Oh, and this is what I wanted to say at the beginning. Um, I have the feeling that not only that ranking, so the first thing is students. Plain and simple, it's a buyer's market very much. If there are hours when there are students there, then in principle, everybody has work. But if there's not as much work there, then the ratings that you have been given, so the rating that you have for the past 50 or the past 200 hours, are the ratings that you that will be there and that gets reviewed every on the 25th of every month. So it'll tell you where you are, and what you're trying to do at all times is to stay around or above the 9.7. 9.7 is like the golden number. If you can be above there, it means that you will be booked because people like teachers with high ratings. There's a reason for this. When they rate well, they will rate you a 10. If there is anything they don't like, now this could be the way your hair is, the way you sit. If you look tired, if you did not brush your hair, they will come down straight away. They can also so there's a lot of things that you can control, and there are certain things you can't control. This goes back to the music. Like you have to always be prepared. Always, always, always. So this is right up my alley. It's like preparing uh, for for exams and for performances and stuff. You have to be prepared for everything. It can change all the time. You have to be flexible because whatever goes for that kid, whatever works for them is what you do. That's your job. There is no, most of these kids, you never get to see them again. Now they can like you and then you might get booked with them. I think there is another thing in there as well, is that I think the AI, so the artificial intelligence that they use, also scans the programs, and because all the lessons are recorded for legal reasons, for them to check, and for us if we have complaints, and also for the clients if they have complaints. I think all the audio and all the written stuff gets kind of scanned for certain words. Now, I would always put in my reports that this is what I love, like the Oxford University Press material. I'm not officially qualified to teach it, but if there's an overflow of students, which there often is on the weekends, I get OUP students. It's actually really easy to do because you get told exactly. If you don't know what you're doing, you can do word for word. You can follow the script. They have scripts and you can just follow the script. You don't even have to think about it. All you got to do is smile and make them feel good. Keep them engaged and keep them talking. Really important. The thing that the Asian students really like is what I can't get in European students. They like rigor. So they like repeating stuff. I'm a musician, repeating stuff. I'm an expert, like repeat, 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 repeat 100,000 times in 100,000 different ways. You repeat. Sing song, whatever, you just make it happen. The other thing is that they have to stay engaged. So if they're doing their homework, you're out of luck. If you're lucky, nobody is looking. The parents are not looking. The kid is not looking. You go through the material. If they can repeat after you, you're in business. Then there is, so you have the ratings, you have how these students feel about you. That's really important. But a lot of kids don't rate. And in OUP, they don't rate at all. Never, ever, ever. But that'll bring your ratings up. And when your ratings are high, you will get booked. The other thing is you have to be always on time. You have to behave in a professional manner. All of these things go towards, you cannot miss lessons, you cannot cancel lessons. When that happens, your bonuses go, and you sink like a brick. And what I noticed is that a lot of new teachers, they don't read their agreements, they don't read the actual rules. So they go in, they haven't got a clue. But then they go onto the message boards and they go like, I don't understand. And they're talking to people who are on the message boards. A lot of them, they don't have a lot of good things to say. So what they get is a lot of negative feedback. Oh, well, this company is no good. But it's got nothing to do with that. It's got to do that what they want is they want you to follow the rules step by step by step. The way I see it, it's like a computer game. Like, do you know, if you get like the perfect run in a computer game, it's because you've tried it like 20, 30, 40 times. Teachers are anal anyway. They are like, they're not very, a lot of them don't have um, there is a lot of them that don't do very well. They're just like this. The mistake they make is that they think that there is only one way and it's their way. Online teaching is all about being flexible because it's not about us. We are like, and really when you think about it in a classroom, one is you have to teach them, you have to give them the knowledge. The other thing is that you have to um, you are there for them. They're not there for us. They're not there to feed our egos. We are there to bring them along and give them a good experience. So it's a mixture between entertainment and education. Because basically they're handing these kids iPads and phones and are getting English lessons. They have no physical or any type of connection apart from the visual and the oral. So there's none of the touching, there's none of the being, none of that. You have none of that. Your space is really quite small. So if you can navigate of that, you can make that really interesting, then you're onto a winner. Yeah, it's like being on a stage. It's like keeping the audience there with you, and of course you can't win all the time, but so far I'm doing okay. And I'm not getting like so far I haven't, like, I'm sure I will have one day, but for the time being, the worst ratings I'm getting are eights, and even the eights hurt because like that eight yesterday from that kid, I felt very, I actually felt really annoyed. Like twice today, I nearly wrote an email saying like, I want that rectified because it just isn't true. It just isn't true. I know for sure. I did training on this last week. Like I went out of my way to go to training. So I know for sure I left enough time for that kid to speak. That kid was not willing. But the mother doesn't want to lose face. The work didn't get done. Somebody has to get the blame, in this case, me. I'll get over it. I'll get a good few more